Welcome guys to my new video, and it's Mistweaver double legendary time. We're running Invoker's Delight with sinister teachings from the good old venthyr. The HPS from venthyr is always going to be nice. So we're doing a bit of a smaller pull. That's all good. That's all good. We're gonna go with our so Invoker's Delight. After using Celestial, your haste is increased by 33% for like 20 seconds. You can see the buff right here. So we're spinning to spin to win, guys. Oh, they're kind of separated now, so maybe the DPS is going to be a little bit different. But you can see that I'm basically using Enveloping Mist, which are proccing Enveloping Breath. So you can see on grid 2, the little like ant trail is showcasing who has Enveloping Breath, which provides splash healing and also increases the healing that they receive from my other spells. So it's win-win situation. Again, this is, you see the little circle? You see the circle here? That's my 4-set bonus. It has been changed in the latest PTR build. On top of the Encrypted Affix has also been changed to give you different buffs, or let's say enhanced, to also provide you like 200% CDR and mana and HP. On top of that, they also have damage reduction. This is the robot that's gonna jump around. Honestly, it's super annoying, but after it's killed, it's gonna give you 15% haste, which is the new improved version. It's gonna give you 50% haste and then a weird kind of DPS and healing ability that I honestly have not tested fully. If you kill the other guy, you get 200% CDO, which is something that I wanted to test out because I'm running Invoker's Delight, which every time I use Celestial I mention. So if you combine that with CDO or cooldown reduction, more Celestials, more Red Crane, more Invoker procs, more haste equals more damage. So I definitely feel that there is, again, early days. I'm not saying which one's the best in terms of buffs, but you can see there is synergy with some of your longer cooldowns, and in terms of how it's going to impact that, you can see right now we have the increased haste. So Mistweaver Monk, I'm running Invokers like I talked about it before. There is a lot of other legendaries that I wanted to test out. Ancient Teaching of the Monastery is something that people have been talking for a really long time. So this is gonna be the new Affix. I want to kill, I would kill the haste one again. I kind of wanted to try out the CDR. So I'm using my Red Crane. I have a bunch of haste right now. I'm spinning to win. I'm gonna stun. We have our Kyrian buff. It's really strong. So we got a haste again. I really want to test out CDR after the people. I'm not sure if they're gonna kill the CDR one just to see it, but it reduces the cooldown. Obviously, it reduces the cooldown of your abilities, especially when you consider 3-minute abilities and things like that. And again, I'm testing Mistweaver Monk in terms of Mythic Plus performance with Encrypted. And you know, if you watch any of the videos or if you follow the meta in Mythic Plus, healer damage is a big topic of discussion, and a lot of people, when they're considering to play a healer or a competitive healer in Mythic Plus, they're looking at how much damage they can do, because all healers can do good healing, especially now that Resto Druids and Holy Priests received healing buffs. They also increase damage buffs. Every healer provides some sort of utility. Like for example, I'm the only monk in this group, which means I'm giving 5% physical damage buff, which is nothing to be ignored. I think it's actually a pretty interesting buff, especially when you're the only monk. So every healer provides utility, but not every healer provides the same amount of damage. Recently in Mythic Plus, in terms of healers, in terms of double legendaries, a lot of healers have weird double legendaries that they're using just to... Okay, let's try and kill. I want to kill the CD... Okay, that's the... I want to kill So we kill so this is going to be the CDR one. This is going to be the CDR. You see this guy right now? You see my Red Crane? 1 minute. 1 minute cooldown. Let's see what it's going to look like after we kill this dude. Spin to win, spin to win. I'm using defensives. So it's 1 minute. 22 seconds after we killed it. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of the new affix, in terms of the different buffs, and in terms of what it provides for your cooldowns, especially longer cooldowns. And you also get mana and HP. So mana is no longer an issue. Blizzard has looked at the Encrypted. Previous PTR builds, Encrypted gave you no mana resources. Right now you have an option of helping out your healers, especially healers who have mana issues. Mistweaver is probably one of those healers that can have mana issues if you don't play it correctly, or if you're forced to use Vivify's Essence Font, things like that. Holy Paladin is going to be really happy about the mana buffs, because Holy Paladin just has a weird interaction with mana where you just run out of mana by just doing your normal rotation, which honestly doesn't feel correct. So let's go right now. Sinister Teachings Fallen Order. We're using Red Crane, Spin to win, healing, Enveloping Mist on tanks with Enveloping Breath proccing, Enveloping Mist. Again, this is technically padding because there's only one single target that needs to die. But guys, I just want to see how much damage I can do. So there is a lot of legendaries that I wanted to try out. A lot of people have been talking about, you know, things like Ancient Teachers of the Monastery. I've been talking about Keepers. I've actually wanted to check out, which is a Windwalker legendary. I wanted to try out Keepers and see if it actually could work. Again, I've done zero testing on that legendary. It's just something that I read the tooltip and I was like, it could be maybe interesting. But at the end of the day, again, this is my 4 set. I kind of like the way it looks like. You could regard Fallen Order as one of those abilities to press and forget, and all of a sudden it's going to do a bunch of passive healing, and you just need to make sure to get as many crits as possible to reduce its cooldown window. So you could argue that Sinister Teachings is something that increases your DPS because you're able to focus on DPS more. But a lot of the times in 9.15 and in 9.2, if you want the pure HPS build, if you want the biggest HPS, you're gonna go venthyr, you're gonna go Sinister Teachings, because you could regard Sinister Teachings as a legendary that gives you the biggest HPS bonus for any healer out there. Let's watch out for pets. Oops, this is gonna be a big pull. This is gonna be a big pull, guys. Or maybe we're just gonna play it safe, just watch out for the frontals. So, Sinister Teachings, venthyr, it's still looking like a huge HPS bonus. It's almost removing a choice for your Covenants, because let's say for example you wanted to go a pure DPS build for a Mistweaver Monk, because Mistweaver Monk does not lack HPS, their HPS is very strong. Mistweaver Monk lacks DPS, so let's say you wanted to be like, I'm gonna try and optimize my DPS, I'm gonna stun, I'm gonna try and optimize my DPS, and I'm gonna go something like Nightfade, Phalanx Stomp. Phalanx Stomp is actually a really fun ability that, honestly, I feel needs a buff. It honestly feels like Nightfade is built for Mythic Plus. Phalanx Stomp, when you have grouped up enemies, feels so good, press, but it feels like it should do more damage. So for example, let's say you go Nightfade and all of a sudden you focus on DPS legendaries like the Touch of Death legendary, maybe Keepers, I don't know, like I'm field crafting completely here with Keepers. The amount of DPS you're going to get is not going to feel that great because you're losing so much HPS by not going venthyr in Fallen Order. So this is what I'm kind of saying, because let's say for example if you play Resto Shaman right now, you have a far easier choice of going something like Kyrian, and all of a sudden if you go I need to revival here, revival. We save the thing. If you go Kyrian, Vesper Totem as Resto Shaman, you're pumping damage like to an insane extent. Sure, you might lose out some pure HPS by not using something like Necrolord or whatever if you want to compare it to that, but you have an easy choice. Mythic Plus, Kyrian, I'm pumping damage. For Mistweaver, to some extent, the choice is not as clear, because if you go other Covenant other than venthyr, you're sacrificing a bunch of HPS for marginal DPS gain. And I feel that's not a good design choice. I think Blizzard needs to change that. So let's go for the cooldown reduction. We'll see. I'm gonna touch that. We're gonna go with cooldown reduction. So just to showcase Encrypted Affix, just to showcase that we have 2 minutes on Red Crane. Let's kill this guy. I don't know if they want to. CC. I can CC this guy. I can CC. Yeah, we CC that guy. So what is it? 24 seconds. So that's pretty nice. I'm not sure which of the buffs is going to be the best, but I definitely feel the new improved Encrypted Affix feels pretty nice. I feel for the amount of effort that you put in as a Mistweaver Monk in Mythic Plus, you don't get the same results that you would get for other healers. And that feels bad. So a lot of the negativity that I'm talking about Mistweaver Monk right now is all about the Mythic Plus. In Mythic rating, I think Mistweaver is actually in a solid spot. Their passive DPS is rivaling that of Discipline Priest, is rivaling that of maybe Holy Paladin. I need to do more log reviews and things like that, but your passive DPS is there. Your healing, you might not be the god tier healer as you used to be in 9.15 because Resto Druid got buffs, Holy Priest got buffs. You're still doing really high DPS or really high healing. So high healing, high passive damage in Mythic rating they're not in a bad spot. We'll have to see at the Mistweaver's overall DPS. So far, I've tested Mistweaver in a couple of keys and Halls of Atonement, and the overall damage of Mistweaver seems to be quite low when compared to other healers, because every other healer, like for example, Resto Druid and Holy Priest got buffs. So to some extent, those buffs to those healers are nerfs to Mistweaver, because Mistweaver's community perception in 9.15 was not great, but at least they had the throne of being the highest HPS healers. They're healing through venthyr, through Fallen Order, through Sinister Teachings combination, which is kind of insane, especially in mythic raiding. But now you have healers getting buffs, DPS buffs and healing buffs, and you have healers who possibly have better combinations of double legendaries. And now, from all of my testing so far that I've seen, a lot of the healers are standing in the range of 5k plus DPS, with the exception of Resto Shaman, who can do more than that, but you also have Resto Druid, who has hidden potential through, you know, Kyrian and Kindred Affinity, Kindred Spirits combo. And Mistweaver, I don't want to be too overly negative about this, but Mistweaver is right down at the bottom of the overall DPS. You still provide a lot of utility as Mistweaver, but every healer provides utility to some extent. Every healer has good healing. Like, I was actually testing Holy Priest the other day. I don't know if people watched the video about the Holy Priest, but I was testing Holy Priest and I was doing Halls of Atonement. I was the Flash Concentration build that is synchronized with the tier set, with the 2-set, 4-set bonus, synchronized with Resonant Ward's Conduit. All of a sudden, your healing, your single target healing and splash healing with Trail of Light feels insane. It feels insane. So a lot of healers can do good healing in Mythic Plus. A lot of healers provide good utility in Mythic Plus. But the DPS is... There's a couple of outlier classes that are either at the top or really at the bottom. Also in terms of the 2-set and 4-set bonus for Mistweavers, I'm sure people know what it is, but the 2-set basically makes your Essence Font stronger, and the 4-set, after using Thunder Focus Tea, the big circle appears. The big circle appears that increases your healing. Now the problem with that, it's only healing increase. I don't know why Blizzard is so scared about adding something like a primary stat gain or secondary stat gains that could also be... that could also, you know, give you DPS gains. I feel like Blizzard is so scared about over buffing Mistweaver damage because it's going to scale with Ancient Teachers of the Monastery, that Blizzard just completely... They don't want to increase the damage. They're so... It feels like Ancient Teacher of the Monastery is hurting Mistweaver viability. I'm not sure, because I feel like the 4-set bonus should 100% give you a way of increasing your damage. Now, I want to hear your opinions in the comments if you like the 4-set bonus, because a lot of people think... I think there's a lot of split opinions. I feel that anything that is going to add complexity to a Mistweaver is welcome, because all of a sudden you need to think about your Thunder Focus usage, because if you use it at the wrong times you might not be in melee and things like that, so you have to think about it. And I feel like Mistweaver needs more complexity, because especially in raids, the amount of smart heals that you have, you know, heals that jump to other players when they reach full HP, Renewing Mist and things like that, Essence Font. All of a sudden those type of heals that provide a lot of... they're handled by the game basically. So I feel like anything that adds complexity to Mistweaver is kind of welcome, but at the same time I also think that Mistweaver is severely lacking in the DPS department in Mythic Plus. 3.5k overall damage, and it was just to showcase the possible DPS that you can do when your items levels is scaled to 252 on patch on 9.2 PTR. And it's not really comparable to what other healers can do at the moment, which is why I'm making this video and kind of doing like a plea almost to some extent. I do think that the overall base damage of Mistweaver monks is considerably lower than other healers are seeing right now. The fact that Resto Druid and Holy Priest received buffs to damage and healing to some extent has nerfed Mistweaver monks. If you think that Mistweaver monk community perception was low in Season 2, it's probably even going to be lower in Season 3 if nothing changes, and there's multiple ways that Blizzard can approach this. Increase baseline DPS and nerf Ancient Teacher of the Monastery, just so Ancient Teacher of the Monastery doesn't become like an overpowered legendary. I mean, Mistweaver already has overpowered legendaries, but I feel Blizzard really fears that. Increase baseline DPS, probably nerf Ancient Teacher of the Monastery. Change 4-set bonus, so the 4-set bonus increases primary stats, secondary stats, anything that increases damage, because I don't think the tier set is that bad. I think it actually makes you think about the usage of Thunder Focus Tea, which adds complexity, and I feel Mistweaver needs complexity at this given point. Do what Blizzard did for a bunch of other healers who try to focus on Mythic Plus. Have a Covenant dedicated to Mythic Plus or DPS. Resto Shaman as Kyrian because it's an easy choice. Kyrian is going to double your DPS compared to other Covenants. Again, this is about 9.15 and 9.2 venthyr is looking... But either way, besides the point. Make a Covenant that's dedicated for Mythic Plus. Let's say example, Nightfey. Nightfey Phalanx Stomp, I felt like it was always meant to be a Mythic Plus type of ability because, again, it requires people to be stacked or mobs to be stacked and things like that in order to deal damage. But let's say you go Nightfey, Phalanx Stomp gets buffed, and all of a sudden it becomes more viable and you can say like, hey, I'm a Mistweaver Monk who's looking to progress Mythic Plus content and I'm looking to do more damage. And let's say they buff Phalanx Stomp and Nightfey becomes the way to go and you have an easier choice. Okay, I can go Nightfey and do a bunch more damage. I will sacrifice some healing, but I'm fine with that choice. I want the damage. So there's a lot of different things that Blizzard can do, but at this given point, after testing most of the healers in 9.2, like I talked about, I tested Holy Priest a couple of days ago and things like that, and Holy Priest felt really nice. They can do like in Holoski, I was doing like 5k overall DPS, not counting in PIs. Mistweaver is stuck in like a 3k range, which is pretty significant. You still have to consider they do have monk buff, like 5% physical damage buff and things like that, which can be pretty nice, but I do think there needs to be some changes made, because if there isn't, community perception in Season 2 for Mistweavers was not great. In Season 3, it's looking to fall, because bunch of other healers got buffs, bunch of other healers have arguably better double legendary combinations, so Mistweaver, without getting any changes, is actually gonna fall because everyone else is rising. You need to give something to Mistweaver so they can keep up, at least in Mythic Plus content. In raids, they're actually pretty fine. They're not the HPS gods anymore. They're still really good HPS, but they're not undeniable HPS gods, because in raiding, Resto Druid got some significant buffs, that Piercer is really nice, Holy Priest got healing buffs, so all of a sudden there's HPS healers. But Mistweaver has an advantage over those healers because they provide passive damage, so I think in raid Mistweaver is doing pretty well, the playstyle is nice, Rising Mist is nice, but in Mythic Plus, something needs to happen. Maybe there's going to be some weird double legendary combination or a Covenant appearing, but honestly, I think Blizzard just needs to add something and help Mistweavers before 9.2 is released.